Hello everybody. I thought I'd give you a bit of a mini tour today over the front of the plot. The whole plot that I have here is far too big to do in one go. I'll be sending you all to sleep if I did that. So I thought I'd do it in sections over the next week or so, just so you can see where I'm up to and what's actually going on and kind of my plans moving forward. So yeah, I'll just turn the camera around and you can see. So I've been getting on with some second plantings, what you would call and class the second spring. And I've got some violet cauliflower in here, some purple sprouting broccoli at the end, and I've more broccoli over there that's not netted at the minute, just seeing how that goes. And in this bed in the middle, there's some chard here, and now you can see this is running to seed. This will be coming out in the next day or two. I want to have one more pick through, see if I can find the smaller leaves. If there's any edible in there, I'll take them. Otherwise, all that is going on the compost heap. Good feed for it. Down here, got some lovely cabbages, and these are ones, and I haven't yet tasted them to be honest, but these are ones I haven't grown before. They're called Caraflex, and it's a hispy type cabbage. I tried to remember the variety name on Tony's Live the other night, but they're good, solid, decent cabbages. So I'll be having one of these today. Very pleased with those. And then moving on to the next bed, we've got some broccoli. It's been a bit meh this year. Got a couple of heads to take off, but we've had a couple of heads as well, but it hasn't been really good at all. Up in the next bed, some lettuces. This is what we're eating now. There's about, I don't know, 18 or so, maybe 20 cabbages in there. And at the end, I've just planted the other day, they're replacements. These will bolt very, very soon, go to seed. And yeah, then we can move on to the others at the back. Hopefully they'll coincide nicely. Got my carrot boxes here. This is stuffed full of foliage, and I'll have to admit, I haven't been in to thin these out. That's something will have to get done this week. There's weed in there as well, as you can tell by the yellow flowers up there. Yeah, so that needs a good sorting out. We have had some carrots. There are some ready to eat in there of a decent size. Let's see if I can pull one now. Look at that thistle. Let's see what we can get out. There we go. That's not bad at all. So, yeah, they can come home with us. Cover that up. Right, back on. The sweet corn's doing well. It's got its protection box around it. Stops the wind moving them around like sails and breaking their shallow roots. And some very poorly looking, straggly looking Brussels sprouts, but hopefully they'll pick up. And some celeriac down here. Haven't grown as many as usual, but I think that'll probably be enough for us. These are the leeks here that were grown in a small pot, and then I grew them on in there, and they've done fairly well. Just put them all in a shallow trench, and then I was digging these up the other week and planting these, and the foliage was all flat on the ground, but you can see now, for those of you who saw that video, that these are now picking up. The jackdaws are coming along and pulling one or two out. I'm not too concerned about that. I've got a heck of a crop there, probably far too many. And I've got these ones that I've planted as bunches for autumn eating as babyish leeks. Although they're starting to look kind of mighty. Up here there's another box of leeks. Undecided as to what to do with them. A few bits of straggly plants. Terrible courgettes this year. And in here I've got rows of Swedes, radish, some more beetroot I think, and I can't remember what else I've planted here, to be honest. That's radish again. And then down this end I've got my fennel coming through. And a lot of this stuff in here is broccoli rabe. I'm going to transplant some of that to grow elsewhere on the plot, so I won't waste all that, but that's again something else that needs thinning out. Over on the other side of the beds, got flowers in this top one, cornflowers. Don't they look wonderful? Spilling out everywhere because I never put the support up. And that mass of white over there is Ami Majus. That's the vase filler. You take a sprig of this stuff, half a dozen sprigs of this stuff in a vase, and you filled it, and from there you just put 1 or 2 spots of colour in it. It may be a rose or a dahlia or something. You've got a vase that's beautiful. In this next bed we've got shallots. These are Zebrun shallots. There's quite a lot of them. I've favoured the shallots in recent years because onions haven't done too well. But then this goes and happens. Look at these. These are my Bedfordshire Champion onions. Here, these are doing marvellously well. Very pleased with these. And down here are the Ailses. Now, Ailses normally grow bigger than the Bedford Champs, but these are just powering away. So we'll have a good mix of onions and shallots this year. I think I'm going to pull one of these because I've got an oddity here, and we'll eat this weekend. An oddity in that, there we go, you can see it. It has split into 2, which is kind of strange. Never seen that before. But it won't store because I've just yanked it out the ground as opposed to digging it up. We'll eat it this week. In here was where all my garlic was. And that's all gone. It's all in the polytunnel maturing. And I've now got cabbages in here. 2 different types of Savoy. I think this first half of this bed is called Winter Perfect or Winter Perfection. And the other end, the smaller ones, are the Winter King. So that's cabbages for winter and another bed in use. This bed is looking pretty marvellous. These have been parsnips in here. And even the thinnings were near enough edible when I was thinning this out about a week ago. And I've got some more planting to do here. I've got some spring onions at various stages and some peas. So I'll get this little area full. So this is my Brassica seed bed here in the large polytunnel. And most of the brassicas, in fact all of them that you've just seen out there, all came from this bed. And the general idea is you sow in rows across, and you can probably make out the different varieties of plants there. And rather than sort of sowing directly into modules into compost, you're saving compost by doing this. You've got the choice later on, as I have now, of either taking the plants out and transplanting them outside where they'll sulk for a week and then get going, or you can then plant these on into bigger pots for later use, and then you can clear the bed and use it for something else, which is what I'll be doing. I mean, for instance, this row here is what's remaining of the purple sprouting broccoli, and you can see I've planted 2 areas out the front from this row, just this little area here, but I've now got the option with these plants to either plant them somewhere else or pot them on. So it's just given me more options. These here are 2 rows of kale. I think this one's a Cavalliniero and this one is forgotten what it's called now, Vates' Blue. And these will fill the bed where the onions and shallots are now, so when they come out these are ready to go in there. And again, I'll pot some of them on, and when another space becomes available, some of these plants will actually be planted in this tunnel when the tomatoes come out, for instance. So it keeps the options open. I mean, I've got Brussels sprouts down the front there. There's none left, or I think there's one left of the crimson cauliflower that I planted right down the front of the plot. So just in this small space, devoting that to a seed bed has given me all these options. It's filled countless beds out there now, and will do when it's finished. And I will also have plants left over as hole fillers. So let's say one of those cabbages die out there, I've got more cabbages here to go and replace it with. So I get a full crop, and I get extras, and I get ease, and I save on compost at the end of the day as well. So there we go. That's a Brassica seed bed, and you can do the same for most plants as well, and especially at this time of the year. In fact, I think I'm going to go and sow some more seeds. Salads are a great thing, and you can change them up and make them whatever you want them to be. You can add so many different flavours, dressings, herbs, so many different things, even fruits into it, or part cooked vegetables, or even breadcrumbs, you know, or cheese and things. It's endless what you can do with it, and no two salads should ever be the same. When I was a kid growing up, I remember salads were a bit of iceberg lettuce, half a tomato, a few slices of cucumber and a little bit of mustard cress sprinkled on top. That was a salad, maybe a couple of eggs with it, you know, or a bit of gala pie or something, if any of you remember that. But that was simple. But then I think I was about 6 years old when my granddad first took me to an allotment in our village, and I think he was delivering chrysanthemum cuttings to somebody down there, a friend. And it was there that I saw my first coloured lettuce, sort of dark red lettuce. I'd never seen that before. I said, what's that? And it was lettuce, and I was given some to eat, and we enjoyed it. And then later when I got a plot, I shared a plot with a friend down there, growing these things for myself, and that was just wonderful. Well, one of the things that struck me was what I'm about to sow now, and this is Chinese cabbage. Sort of a crunchy, it is a very crunchy cabbage, but it's also very light, and you could, and I do, when I do grow it successfully, use it in place of lettuce. So it will go into a salad raw, or you could stir fry it or steam it as a veg. Now, any of you out there that know me know that every year I have this thing where I try to grow this for sort of Christmas time, because I want that crunch in my lettuce. It seems to be devoid in the lettuce. I mean, I grow lettuce all year round, so that's not a problem. But with the crunchy lettuce, which I do like, it seems to be in short supply around Christmas. They tend to be a little bit limp. It hasn't got that same crunch that this Chinese cabbage or an iceberg lettuce will have. I don't grow iceberg anymore, But anyway, I'm going to grow some for the autumn this year, because I've recently been talking to a couple of friends online, and between us we're going to have an attempt, I think, on the Christmas Chinese cabbage, but it reminded me to sow it now for autumn, so I'm going to get some of these in. And these are a variety called Wong Bok, and I haven't actually eaten one of these for about 3 years because I haven't managed to grow them for Christmas. But there's another variety I try and grow called Michili as well, but Michili. But that's cabbage Wong Bok, and I'll just put a couple of seeds on each there and let them germinate. And what I'm going to do is, in a month's time, I'll sow another batch, another tray like this, and I will just keep sowing, growing and planting them out, and see how we get on with them. Don't want many, and these will grow big. I think they grow up to about 4 or 5 pound in weight. But I just want to find my way with them again, see if I can learn anything from growing them, because as I say, I haven't grown them for a good few years, probably getting on for more like 4 or 5 years. But we'll see what we can do with them this year, and then later on, as it's all secret squirrel at the minute, later on we'll do this Chinese cabbage for Christmas thing. And we'll see how we get on with that, because we think we found, or one of us thinks we found a good variety. So we'll see how that goes later on when we announce that. So I have this really, really nice cabbage. Can't wait to try that. A few carrots that I pulled out of there as a bit of a test. A few carrots to go home, and this this mutant shallot. And we'll eat all this weekend. Incidentally, talking about this onion and shallot bed, it's something I haven't watered, and since it was planted. I generally water everything in, and if I'm planting on a big bed, you know, half a bed or a full bed or something, planting it up, I'll water it in with the hose pipe. I don't mind admitting that. But I've tried to lessen the use of the hose pipe this year, and it seems to be working really quite well. So what that means is, with this bed, since these were planted, I haven't watered them, and the roots have gone down to find the water, and you can see the results. The onions and the shallots are so much better. Things it didn't work with was my early season cauliflower. didn't appreciate that at all, and they were poor and got ripped out. And you could see the evidence, the similar thing with that broccoli I showed you. Yes, there are a few heads there I can pick, and I'll add them to this basket in a minute and go home with us. But again, that was poor, so there's some correlation there between watering and brassicas and the difference between that and the alliums. Because again, all my garlic, it wasn't watered. So, and most of the plot hasn't been watered. About the only thing I have watered is I've watered those leeks in, and my sweet corn, I've watered them in, and I've watered them once since. But everything else I haven't watered on this plot. Now I know we get a little bit more rain than most. I know the temperature's up, even over in Newcastle yesterday were 28. I saw on Tony's video last night. Yesterday it was poor and we had rain through the afternoon and evening. So we do get plenty of rain here, but you know, we're in the Lake District, no rain, no lakes. But it appears to be working and seemingly making better plants. I just need to find that right balance between which plants need more water than others. Have a good idea already, but do some more tests on the brassicas and see what really does. We'll do some more observations, I should say, on the brassicas and see what works better for those plants. But anyway, that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe. I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.